Another year comes to an end, and for that reason I want to share a gift with you. Therefore, watch the video to learn how to download it in Quetzales. Today marks the end of 223, a year with both good and bad things, but despite what has happened, we are still here. That's why I want to share with you to whom I owe the growth of the channel. A small gift, which is the 2024 calendar. I will now explain it below. All solar calendars of both modern and ancient civilizations have 365 days. To be more precise, 365 days and a quarter of a day. This is the time it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun. Obviously, the calendar we use today with 12 months was not used in these lands until it was imposed by the Spanish and other European powers on the continent. So, what was used here before? Well, there was also a calendar of 365 days, for those who claim that only unclothed savages existed here. This calendar was superior to the European Julian and later Gregorian calendars. As I had mentioned in other videos, it was structured in periods of 20 days, called veintenas, obviously composed of 20 days. These days were interspersed with 13 numerals. Among Nahua groups and others, these 20 days can be found in various documents such as codices, and of course, they are seen in the wrongly called Aztec calendar here. Mayans also had them in their calendar. Now, in the solar calendar of 365 days, a total of 18 veintenas fit. This is more functional than having months of 28, 29, 13 or 31 days as we have today. Obviously, 18 veintenas multiplied by 20 days gives us 360 days, leaving 5 days. To address this shortfall of 5 days to complete a complete solar cycle of the Earth in relation to the Sun, they added an extra period of 5 days, called Nemontemitl in Nahuatl and Guayep in Mayan. With this addition, we now have a solar system of 365 days consisting of 18 veintenas and 5 additional adjustment days. Obviously, when the collision with European occurred, what we now call pre-Hispanic calendars, a term that is incorrect but is commonly used today, were set aside. The Julian calendar was imposed, and later, in 1582, the Gregorian reform took place. Only in recent decades have some started to use remnants of these calendars, especially gaining popularity when there were claims that the Maya calendar predicted the end of the world in 212. Obviously, this was a falsehood, but it sparked interest in these matters. Today, calendars are created such as the one I want to share with you. It is referred to as a calendrical correlation, as it combines the Gregorian calendar that we always use with the various pre-Hispanic versions, in this case the Mexica calendar. It's important to note that while many advanced cultures of that time had the same system of 80 veintenas and 5 adjustment days, they did not necessarily start their solar year on the same date. Depending on each culture, they had their own New Year's start, which did not have to coincide with that other groups. This might seem confusing today since everyone in Mexico and in general worldwide celebrates New Year's on January 1st. Imagine what the Spanish thought when they encountered this. Now, this correlated calendar is based on information provided by Domingo Chimalpain, a native of Amecameca in the current state of Mexico, who compiled information from various groups in central Mexico. This information is documented in Las Ocho Relaciones y el Memorial de Culhuacan. The key information in this text is as follows. At the end of the 90 days during which were fighting, finally, in Tlazochimaco, we were defeated. They then captured the Tlatoani Cuauhtémoc on the day Huancoatl. The war ended on the 13th of August, the feast of San Hipólito. This information forms what is called a calendrical correlation between the European and Mexica systems. According to Chimalpain, August 13, 1521 was the day when Tenochtitlan fell, and Cuauhtémoc was captured. According to this individual, who was born sometime after the event, he stated that on that European day in the Mexica calendar, it was a one serpent date, and Tlazochimaco was the 9th veintena of the year. With these two dates and an understanding of how the pre-Hispanic system worked, it was possible to reconstruct the entire calendar, at least for the Mexicas. This reconstruction also took into account the Gregorian reform that occurred in 1582. The final result, while somewhat complex to grasp, sets the Mexica year's day on the current March 12th. From this point, calendars were developed that combined both the pre-Hispanic and Gregorian systems. Moving on to explain the calendar you're sharing. The cover indicates that it is the calendar of 224. The second page contains a description of images. In one column, the 18 veintenas are listed, along with the name of each and the days it covers in the Gregorian calendar. The next column displays the 20 signs of the veintena, along with their names in Nahuatl and Spanish. Each veintena starts with the sign Zipactli, and the last one is flower. The following column lists the 13 numerals, their names in Nahuatl, and their translation in Spanish. The calendar follows the structure of the Gregorian months from January to December 224, with a total of 12 pages. Each month is presented with its day in a box, where the number represents the Gregorian day. The green sign next to it is the corresponding veintena. The names of the veintenas are placed beyond each month. Each box also displays one of the 20 predeterminate signs, following a strict order, and the numeral assigned to it, which also follows a strict order from 1 to 13. For example, in January the 1st, 224, in the Mexica correlation, it would be the 9th vulture, day of the 15th veintena called Panquetzalistli. The same process applies to any other day of the year. Concluding the year, here it is, the year 224. However, in Nahuatl the way they named the years was also different. From the 20-day signs, they chose 4 to name each year. Among the Mexicas, these were the signs: cane, flint, house, and rabbit, interspersed with the 13 numerals. Therefore, although we are talking about January 224, in the other system, we will be in the year 11 cane, which is Nahuatl name, sign, and respective numeral. As we mentioned, the European New Year's start was not the same in pre-Hispanic groups. So, let's move to March 224. Here, you can see the change of the year from 11 cane to 12 flint. In March, you can observe that March 12 marks the beginning of the Mexica year, 12 flint, with that day being the 9th day of the first veintena, named 9 crocodile. Before that day, you can see the 5 adjustment days of the calendar called Nemontemitl, spanning from March 7th to March 11th. These days do not have a sign from the 20, nor do they have a numeral. It might seem a bit complicated, but gradually one becomes accustomed to these correlations. In truth, there are many uncertainties about when not only the Mexicas, but also other cultures started their years. We have theories and data that sometimes contradict each other. Nevertheless, this aims to be an educational resource to get accustomed to these concepts and understand a bit better how our ancestors thought and lived. This is a gift I want to share with all of you who take the time to watch my work and videos. Thank you for your attention, your comments, and especially for helping us grow little by little. How can you download it for free? It will be available throughout this new month of January 2024. Simply click on the links provided in the video description beyond. It's available in Spanish and English. Thanks to everyone for this past year. Thank you for your patience and support. And may the coming year be a great one for all.